Antonio Cassano, self-destructive hothead who bedded 700 women by 25, ate pastries after sex and almost died. By his own admission, Antonio Cassano is a problematic guy. It's hard to disagree. Just ask Fabio Capello, his manager at Roma and Real Madrid. On one occasion, Cassano told him, "You're a piece of s, you're more fake than Monopoly money." Emotional outbursts are, though, only a part of the Cassano conundrum. Sex and food, two of his greatest loves, have also been known to cause him issues. Cassano says he'd slept with somewhere between 600 and 700 women, including around 20 celebrities, by the time he was 25, adding that he often played a great match after having sex. In Madrid, where the absurdly talented yet fiery-tempered Italian liked to combine his two passions, his playboy lifestyle ultimately contributed to his downfall. But more on that later. Here, for this week's Wild Card Wednesday, we've delved a little deeper into Cassano's crazy world. Born into poverty in Bari, Cassano was raised by his mum after his dad abandoned them. He played football on the streets of his tough neighborhood from a young age, earning a place in Bari's youth setup. He was promoted to the Bari first team in 1999, and it didn't take long for him to make his mark. In one of his first Serie A games, against Inter Milan, 17-year-old Cassano controlled a 40-yard pass on the run with his heel. He dribbled past Christian Panussi and Laurent Blanc, two legends, before selling a dummy to goalkeeper Fabrizio Ferran and finishing at the near post. Boom. He arrived. Cassano was quickly given the nickname El Pibe de Bari, the kid from Bari, inspired by one of Diego Maradona's monikers, El Pibe de Oro, the Golden Boy. In his 2008 autobiography Di Tutto, I'll Tell Everything, he told how the football, particularly the game against Inter, saved him from a life of crime. He said, "If it wasn't for that game against Inter I would have become a thief or worse, either way, a delinquent. A lot of people that I know have become involved in that life. That game my talent shone, and it took me away from a future of potential s." Cassano joined Roma in 2001, at the age of 19, for £26 million, making him the world's most expensive teenager. On the pitch, he did well, twice winning the Serie A Young Footballer of the Year award. There were also problems. He had a very public bust-up Capello after being left out of a practice match. From then on, the pair are said to have frequently told each other to F off. Match officials received similar treatment. In the 2003 Coppa Italia final against AC Milan, Cassano, after being sent off, sparked controversy by flashing the sign of devil horns at the referee as he stormed off. Roma's next manager, Luigi Del Neri, took a hardline approach, omitting Cassano from the squad, but his successor, Bruno Conti, brought him back into the fold, even handing him the captain's armband. It presumably left Cassano feeling empowered. When Luciano Spalletti was put in charge in 2005, he told him, "You're not coaching those useless players you had at Udinese. This isn't your house, it's my house." And then he started falling out with everyone. Throughout the 2005-06 season, he was locked in a battle with the club over the renewal of his contract. He also turned on strike partner Francesco Totti in a row over a fee the pair got for appearing on a TV show. For Roma, enough was enough. Faced with losing Cassano for free in the summer, the club sold him to Real Madrid for just £4.4 million in January 2006. It's fair to say he really ramped up his playboy lifestyle in Madrid. In his book, he wrote, "In Madrid I had a friend who was a hotel waiter. His job was to bring me 3 or 4 pastries after I had sex. He would bring the pastries up the stairs, I would escort the woman to him and we would make an exchange. He would take the girl and I would take the pastries. Sex and then food, a perfect night." But his two passions, sex and food, were to be his downfall. Madrid began to fine him for every gram he was overweight. No longer the kid from Bari, he was given a new nickname, El Gordito, the little fatty. Things went from bad to worse. Capello, Cassano's old friend, replace Juan Ramon Lopez Caro as manager, and the pair instantly picked up where they'd left off in Rome. Recalling one particular flashpoint away at Tarragona, Cassano said in his book, "He made me and Ronaldo warm up the whole second half without putting us in. In the locker room I told him, you're a piece of s, you're more fake than Monopoly money." The disrespect he showed Capello earned him a suspension. Around this time, Capello coined the term Cassano, which translates as doing a Cassano. The player said he would walk all the way back to play for Roma again, even suggesting he was willing to bury the hatchet with Totti and the club's hierarchy. He was eventually shipped out to Sampdoria, initially on loan, with then Madrid president Ramon Calderón describing his attitude as unsustainable in the last couple of months. The odd show of anger, emotion or petulance aside, Cassano, by his own standards, was pretty well behaved in his 3 years at Sampdoria. But, in keeping with the theme of Cassano's career, things ended on a sour note. Cassano became involved in a row with the club's president, Ricardo Grone, after refusing to attend an awards presentation night. Grone tried to have the player's contract terminated for gross misconduct, but a tribunal ruled that his pay should be slashed by half instead. Speaking to Tuttosport, Grone said, "I'm very sorry because if Cassano didn't have that temper, and if he was not a bit of a funny guy every now and then with no self-control, then he could have been one of the greatest players in the world." In 2010, Cassano joined AC Milan, where he largely managed to keep a lid on the madness. While playing for the Rossoneri, through no fault of his own, he had a brush with death. After appearing as a substitute in a 2-3 victory against Roma, Cassano was complained of feeling unwell on the team bus from the airport. He was dizzy and struggling to speak coherently. He went to hospital, where doctors diagnosed an ischemic stroke. Cassano later said, "We argued for half an hour before I agreed to visit the hospital. And that is when I started to have trouble speaking and thought about seeing my son again." 4 days later, he underwent surgery to fix a problem with his heart. He returned to action in April 2012, almost 6 months after the incident. He admitted, "If I am honest, I was afraid of dying, in particular during those days before the operation." Spells at Inter Milan, Parma, Sampdoria and Hellas Verona followed, before Cassano announced his retirement, in typically eccentric fashion. He changed his mind 5 times, but eventually hanging up his boots for good in September 2017. On his final club, for whom he never played a match, he told Tiki Taka, "There was no spark there. It's like when you're seeing a woman and she no longer attracts you, so you leave." Now 36, his Playboy days appear to be over. Since 2010, he's been married to water polo player Carolina Marshallis. They have 2 sons, Christopher and Lionel, named after Messi. In August 2018, he was tipped to come out of retirement to join Udinese, who play in the 3rd tier of Spanish football. So far, nothing has materialized. Reflecting on his career, he told Rai Sport, "I am a problematic guy, as I never know what mood I'm going to wake up in. I could have been playing on another planet, but I had this issue that I didn't like training and I wanted to eat the way I felt like at the time and I ruined myself. I played in the best clubs in the world, like Real Madrid, Inter and Milan. If I'd had another head on my shoulders, I could have been playing on Mars. I'd be like Lionel Messi, Neymar and few others." But arguably, his most entertaining comment was reserved for a Serie A club he never played for. Unleashing another characteristically descriptive and explicit metaphor, he said, "I have rejected Juventus 4 times. It's a beautiful py that dost get me horny."